Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it's time for this past week's The Gaga on Drinks and Drag. On today's episode, we're diving into this past week's most biggest stories, including why one of the biggest movies of the year appears to be banned in one of the biggest countries in Europe. Then, the panel discusses the recent reports of actor Keanu Reeves accusing Hollywood of homophobia. Plus, Adele said what?
What's my body count? What does that mean?
We find out which reality show the Grammy Award-winning icon does not watch. All of this and more on an all-new Drinks and Drag. With the resident Papi Chulo, Remy. Come get your face beat by the one and only drag beauty queen, Lindsay Aguilera. And the one and only troublemaker himself, Kris Avalon. So grab a drink and come on in because the lounge is open 24/7.
What's just my body count, as she likes to say. I can't do a damn Cockney accent. That's the best y'all gonna get. Anyway, welcome to a brand new episode of Drinks and Drag. It's your boy Kris Avalon here. And, in case you're just tuning in for the first time, Drinks and Drag is basically a panel show for myself and Lindsay and Remy. We're going to bring them in just a second, but we basically just come in and we just talk about all the things that's happening in pop culture, all the trending hot stories and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I am the resident troublemaker. I can't make no promises. I'll try to behave myself in this episode, but, I tell you no lies. Don't ask me. But anyway, so without further ado, let's bring it out with the panelists. You love her, none of you hate her, because she's just always a breath of fresh air. She always is that beacon of light that just always keeps us, or just specifically me, balanced, because I'm a hot ass mess and I don't give a damn. It is what it is. So yeah, let's bring up my girl, the one and only Lindsay Aguilera, serving looks and new hair.
Divorce, babe. Divorce, babe. Divorce, babe. Divorce, babe. Okay? Divorce. This is divorce. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beat Face. How are you? How are you doing?
Okay. How you doing? It's like, we're gonna be talking about Wendy and later on in the show. Speaking of how you doing, but yeah, here to slay another damn episode, and of course, we got to bring in our resident Papi Chulo. He was serving daddy looks earlier, but of course, he had to serve a whole new look. So I don't know what she's giving. It's about to be a little surprise. Tune in for it. Wait for it. One and only, bring in Ray.
Hey, once again, I didn't know this was happening today.
I love your intro. Either the resident Papi, and then when you verbally speak, it's I didn't know this was happening today.
No, caught me by surprise, but I'm glad to be back.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can we talk about last week's episode? Last week's episode was so good. Like the jokes were on. I thank everybody for viewing, commenting. Please continue to do so. I'm still high off of the last episode. It's so good.
Yeah, I definitely have to say, out of all the episodes we've done, we've only done this would be the 6th, but out of all the previous ones, I would say that last episode was my favorite. I just love the idea of us having, it's an interactive talk show, and yeah, because we want to give y'all a lot more stuff, we do more than one episode. So this is the recorded one, as you can see at the bottom, recorded earlier. So this is technically another live one, but yes. So it's just more content that we're giving you, because it's a lot that's going on that we don't want to just put it on in one episode and we just be here for 3 hours running our mouth. That'd just be too much. I know a lot of people got crazy attention spans, so we try to keep it as flowy and quick as humanly possible. So yeah, without further ado, I know we all got our little drinks. I was drinking, but now I'm gonna do a little water, because I gotta,
She's
work.
a water girl.
Mm-hmm. I won't be so sandy again. But yeah, we got a lot of topics to get into. So, and we don't want to be doing this show, speaking of which, for 3 hours. So let's get right into it. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Khloe Kardashian, child, and this mess with her and Tristan. When's she going to learn? But We'll talk about that. We got T on Andy Cohen is finally responding to the Nene leak situation on whether or not she will return. He did say something a couple of weeks ago, but he gave another response. And we'll give our opinions on that. We're going to talk about the latest on Wendy Williams. We're going to talk about Keanu Reeves is basically talking about Hollywood wasn't ready for a transgender character in the original Matrix movie. So we're going to talk about that and how I noticed there are a lot of trans undertones, which basically gives a prelude to the directors who eventually transition, and they're no longer guys, they're girls. And then we're going to talk about West Side Story. Apparently, it's another movie that's been banned in 6 countries. The situation happened previously with another movie. It was The Eternals got banned for the gay couple that was in there, but now they have a problem with a trans character. So we're going to talk about all that and a whole lot more. But first, and we're going to talk about Adele. But let's get into this tea about the baby. In as I would like to call no shit Sherlock news, the baby recently got shaded because he said the controversial thing that he said, like, if your vagina smell like water and if you got HIV and AIDS, those other stuff, and he said a lot of derogatory things towards women, towards the gay community, and he was canceled left and right. And then organizations jumped in the picture and was like, well, if you just apologize, da 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 da, so on and so forth, then we'll forgive you. Y'all don't forgive him, but the rest of us have it. But I think the real gag was they was looking for a payout. They thought he was going to get some kind of financial compensation, but it also turns out that the baby did what the baby was going to do, and I knew he was going to do. He pretty much just ghosted you bitches, and now y'all got egg on your face.
Yep.
So during this happened during the whole Rolling Loud situation back in July, and he basically said, "Oh, this is what he said," because I was just talking. But he said, if you didn't show up today with HIV and AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that will make you die in 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't know this was 1984, but okay. Um, Put your cell phone light in the air. Fellas, if you ain't sucking D in the parking lot, put your cell phone light up in the air. Keep it effing real. And so there was, he met with 9 organizations, and they said during our meeting, the baby was genuinely engaged, apologized for the inaccurate and hurtful comments he made about people living with HIV, and received our personal stories and the truth about HIV and its impact on Black and LGBTQ communities with deep respect. And the baby's willingness to listen, learn, and grow can now open the door for an entirely new generation of people to do the same. And so they also said that they were expecting they said they have not received any outreach, partnership, or funding. Of course, y'all were looking for money. That's the big gag that nobody wants to talk about. But the onus is now on him.
Mm-hmm.
He chooses to convert his misinformation to allyship to supporting the work of the Black AIDS Institute and other people of color-led HIV organizations. So they're pretty much saying that he has he went through the motions and he showed up and saved face because the publicist and everybody told him to do it. Or if you just, put on a little performance, tap dance for these people, then they'll be like, oh, it's forgiven. You can go back to making your money. He did that. Of course, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't follow through. When I'm not surprised at all. But to wrap this whole thing up, what do you guys say? Are y'all surprised by this or?
Not at all. Look at the individual. Look at everything, like you just said, that he's done. Then, not to mention everything that he's done
Mm-hmm.
recently with his whole baby mother drama with Danny Lee and everybody else who's involved. It's like the individual as a whole. We shouldn't expect anything less than what we just discussed, like what you just said.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I'm on the same boat. I'm literally tired of talking about this man. I know we've agreed
Same.
to not bring stories of him to our show, but again, it's affecting our community, and this is a conversation that stemmed from the organizations that's reaching out and saying, hey, so you did the song and dance, but what are you doing after? And this goes back, and I've said it many times. I think it's been recorded several times
Yeah.
on your own show, Kris, and then into Drinks and Drag, that I say this is what I'm talking about when we celebrate these celebrities and give them icons and give them platforms, and then we're quick to forgive them, but they're not giving nothing in return. And I forgot when we told the story a few
Yeah.
weeks ago, there was somebody who said we need to learn to forgive, learn to forgive, learn to forgive, and I was like, I'm not about it, and you should not speak for me. You understand what I'm saying? Let me speak for myself in this community. It's like he's not forgivable. You forgive somebody when they make a big mistake, they correct it and move forward. He has done 101 mistakes over time. How many more times are we going to forgive him? So I'm done. I'm just legit done with this man.
I agree with
I'm
that.
gonna say it again. I'm done with this man.
Yeah, the only
And it's
reason
just
why I brought
disgusting.
Yeah, the only reason why we brought it up because yes, it's affecting our community and it's about our community, and he was supposed to do the work to. I guess I don't know if he made any promises of financial compensation, but to me, it's just I don't go by people's word. I go by their actions. If you show in your actions that you're willing to change, I'm like, okay, I'll give them a chance. Okay, I'm just keep one eye on your ass. But still, if you're making the effort, but then again, like Remy was bringing up with the whole Danny Lee situation, I wasn't surprised by that with her because she's another idiot. You know, you was out here doing what you was doing with the baby mother, thinking you had that magic vagina that was gonna change him thinking he was going to be specifically for you because he told you all kind of, oh, you my light skin, whatever, and you believed all that foolishness, and then all of a sudden he called you a side B, and now all of a sudden your feelings is hurt, and now people looking at you like, see, we told you so. It's going to be the same situation we're going to talk about later on. We talk about Khloe and Christian and Tristan. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. But for this thing, I'm not surprised by any of this. To me, I look at these organizations like I totally see how y'all that this is all about a money situation. You thought because if y'all got this guy in the room that he was going to get some kind of financial compensation, but the baby is a typical stereotype, typical black male. I ain't gonna say we can't say the N word on here, but he's giving very much that. He plays into this overall stereotype of a specific type of black male. And to me, that gets
I like that better. Don't say
because of the
typical because
because of the that's stereotypical. So it's like with the record industry promoting being like they're the more stupid, outlandish, bad behavior you do, they're going to keep financially compensating him for that. He's not going to learn his lesson. He continues to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and all of a sudden, you know, you got women and all these other people in the community telling us forgive him, forgive him, forgive him, and then this whole Dan Lee situation comes up, and all of a sudden you looking at the gays like the gays are looking at you like, okay, so where y'all at? Where's that energy? Like we was out here, you know, our community was basically saying you need to be out here. You know, we were collectively coming together saying this ain't right and we're not going to stand for it. But now where are those same women with that same energy when he said the stuff he said and treated the women, his specific baby's mother, a certain way? And then he's being generalizing women. Where's that energy? Like, come with that. So to me, like, I'm not surprised by this. He is a clown, and I don't think like we need to continue to talk about him unless it has to do with something that affects our community. So he's on the back burner with me. And for these organizations, and I do agree with you, like we shouldn't have to just forgive. Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't sit and tell me, like based on when you say something that affects us and our community, that I should turn the other cheek because you're not affected by what he says. But then you want me to feel bad when he says something towards your community. It's called empathy. So speaking of which, so we were talking about girls and no good baby daddies. That's about Khloe Kardashian and her child's father, Tristan Thompson. So now this story came out recently that he fathered a child with another woman, and he was trying to pay her. It was a Texas personal trainer, Marley Nichols. Now I see the picture of her. She looks like a. Was she the one I think I saw somewhere? She looked like a Kardashian, the way her body's built.
Yeah, she did.
I said he definitely has a type. So he basically, they said Khloe was upset to find out that he cheated again. She just can't believe that he is going to be a dad with another woman. Girl, really? You really believe that? Especially how you got Tristan? Because quiet as it's kept, he was with someone else who was pregnant while he got with you. And then you was doing that whole Danny Lee shit when you was flying all over social media. And look, Khloe is notorious for hooking up with other people, men's, and not following the girl code. Because remember, she hooked up with two of her so-called friend Trina's exes, one of them being French Montana. So I don't feel bad for her in this situation. I feel like, you know, Tristan is in his way broken. I don't know what happened in his personal life or in his past where he's in that mindset of why is he all of a sudden every time he sleep with a girl she get knocked up? Like, are you trying to beat Nick Cannon's number? And to me, it's just like Chloe's broken. I mean, yeah, Chloe's broken too because and I don't know if y'all saw this recent video or this recent post, but Black China, and we talked about her in the last show. She said something or another about how um, if the Kardashians were black, they would be labeled all baby mamas, and technically they are baby mothers. The only one who's not
Yeah,
is what's the model name?
Kendall.
Kendall, because she the only one without
Kendall.
a child. The
Yeah.
rest of all of them is baby, including Kim, because she about to be divorced. So,
Yeah.
what do y'all got to say about this messy ass drama?
I want to like take it back to the last topic that we just spoke about. Look at the material. Like, I get the idea of wanting to keep the family together and keep that picture perfect family image, but he's proven time and time again that he ain't shit. So I mean, it's gonna continue to happen, and she could be delusional and pretend like it's gonna get better, but it's only gonna continue to happen.
Exactly.
Agreed. I mean, listen, why is the media? I mean, we're talking about it because the media is putting it out there. So I'm glad because I want to put in my 2 cents. And why is this news? I feel like it should be news when she gets herself a new baby daddy or a new man, or if she gets engaged. This is now the 1,200th time that he has cheated on her. Like, this is so straightforward. So it's like it's done. I think what's more about it is what he has said to her, basically saying like, you can have this kid, you can do whatever, but you ain't getting no coins out of me or whatever. I'm like, ooh, he is nasty and he's rude, and I think he really must love Khloe, but he also loves to put his pee in other peas because
Yeah.
she's not enough. And I totally get that she wants to build the perfect family, but no family is perfect. And I strongly believe, learn from your sisters, especially Courtney, who has a bunch of kids, has had issues with Scott. She deaded that. You know what I mean? She
Mhm.
kept the friendship, and I want to involve my kids, but I am not with you. And she's said this in the show over the years. And I think that's another reason why people give her props and they support that type of relationship. And at times, a lot of people want them to get back together because he softens up and he tries to show that he has remorse and he wants to build better and do better. And she's like, no, I'm not even going to give it a chance. you know Khloe is giving it all the chances in the world. It's like you're doomed to repeat the same mistake again. I'm pretty sure in another 7 months we're gonna hear another drama because he's not gonna be able to help himself. If he's not gonna be in bed with Khloe because she's mad over this, he's gonna be in bed with somebody else. He clearly has some sort of issue.
So the question is, Jordan gonna get her apology or not?
That part, because I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot. So yeah, because she dogged old girl in the media, and
Mhm.
all these accusations, and Jordan was telling her what happened, but of course you want to put that man over the girl and you want to blame it. And I'm like, maybe she was feeling more guilty because of how she treated her so-called girlfriends in the past when she saw a male opportunity and wanted to latch onto that. So in a way, it's like I feel bad for the fact that this is messy with the kids, but I don't feel bad for what Courtney is going through because she created this
Yeah.
scenario that she's in.
Yeah.
And now she's got a lot of it. So to me, it just seems like Courtney is the one that got the most sense out of all these damn sisters when it comes to figuring out how to co-parent with someone who is, well, I would say all these men that they've been hooking up with is kind of a little cray cray. Like, but Scott seemed like the least messy out of all of them.
I also don't think she owes Jordan an apology. That's all I'm gonna throw out there.
Mm-mm.
It's just, I mean, think about it this way. I want to ask you guys, and I love these topics. I love it. It's growing. Let me ask you guys this question. Not to judge relationship because we've all had good, bad, and different, and there's people that we still care about very much to this very day. But if the one of you guys are in a relationship and your partner tends to be cheating a lot and doing the things that, let's say, he allegedly has done to uh Khloe, right? Would you excuse it if me, being you guys' friends, is involved with him as well? Would you be okay with that? Because I wouldn't. I'm already dealing with him doing what he's doing amongst my back with other people, not amongst my friends, which is why I said I don't think she should apologize.
So you're saying if any one
Jordan
of us hooked up
she
with
should
someone
give
that you
her.
were in a former relationship with that you had a bad relationship with?
Unless we're officially broken, then fine. But they
No, for the
weren't
sake
broken
of
up. They were like
my
going
friendship,
through. They were
I would not
going
do
through
that.
the woodworks of problems, right? And I wouldn't do it either. Jordan did. That's the problem. Now she didn't go all the way like people are painting her to be and stuff like that. But you know, the kissing in his lap, asking to stay later, like those kind of things. Like, girl, and if you're friends with these people, you should open your mouth and say something real quick. What I'm saying is, if it's a stranger, you can't fight it. But if it's someone amongst your friends, even though, you know, the rumors are that, you know, the Kardashians are famous for doing that. Okay, that's the MO. But a lot of these friendships, when it comes to the Kardashians, a lot of these people are riding off their coattails. And a lot of these people are getting a lot of benefits. I don't care what no one says, but you're getting a lot of benefits for being friends with the Kardashians. You know what I mean? Either you populate on the platforms and then you get deals and you get stuff on the side. I'm not saying that you're supposed to bow down to them. But what I'm saying is, if they are doing what they're doing, this is their karma drama with their baby fathers, but it shouldn't be amongst your real friends. Clearly, what they've done with these other girls, I don't think they're really friends. Look how quick they dropped that Pippin girl. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Who's
and I
now
don't think
on
she
the Real Housewives of
did anything
Miami?
for them. Well, thanks to the Kardashians, you get to
And
be
they're
in the
saying like
Miami
she's trying
household.
to give, because I heard that she's trying to give Kim K T's on the show. I was like, okay, girl.
Mm-hmm. She
I mean,
definitely
I'm
did. That's
quite
why I
as
heard
guy. I
that
really
too.
don't care about the Miami Housewives. I'm not watching. There's enough of them running around. I don't
We
even
have to
care
give it a
about the vibe.
chance. It's a totally revamped show. We have to give it a chance.
I feel like just for this purpose of saying that I've seen them all, I'm gonna end up watching it.
Probably.
It's a good way to
Oh my
put
god!
it.
I just realized I gotta finish. I gotta finish Ultimate Girls Trip. Oh wait,
Oh
what
yeah, I
was
didn't
it?
finish that too.
Oh yeah, there was a stuff. Oh wait, there was Oh yeah. Well, while we're still on the subject, and I'm glad you put this in here. There was a story that came out from Us Weekly saying that Khloe threw shade at Halle Berry.
What?
Halle
Trying
Berry just can't stay out of drama. Look
Mm-mm.
at her.
Right? First the Nicki and Cardi, now this.
Halle
This
Berry's
Halle
coming for the
Berry got
next
to do with
award
the
show.
Kardashians now.
I'm barely in my own body. Yeah, I mean, I love Halle Berry, so I don't know why she's trying to come for her. So, but yeah, they said she fired back at claims that she threw shade at Halle Berry during the People's Choice Awards, hinting that she was more concerned with the drama surrounding Tristan that came out on Tuesday. The 37-year-old Good American co-founder responded to a fan who accused her of looking uninterested as Berry, who's 55, accepted the People's Icon Award. And she said, okay, who saw that? I don't care, sort of look like sort of look on Khloe Kardashian when Halle Berry was on stage. Um, I didn't know that, a look basically, these people on social media,
Right.
y'all read too much into things. I remember there was a time when
Do the
that
most.
RuPaul won an award, I think at the Emmys, and then they showed Billy Porter look on his face like he was throwing shade at him. So it's like you don't know what's going through people's minds and stuff at the time. It could have been that Khloe, she had an obligation to show up at the People's Choice Awards. I mean, her sister was there. I think Kim was winning an award and she gave a whole speech about Kanye getting her into fashion and that sort of thing. But her being there as a supporter, it's like, yeah, maybe at the time she did have a lot in her mind. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the show. All I saw was the Christina performance. That's all I saw. Um, but overall, it's like you don't know what's going through people's minds at the time when the camera just pans on them. So if she said that that's what it was, if that's what it
Agreed.
was, she said she was thinking about Tristan and that whole mess and the fact that everybody probably was asking her about it, especially on the red carpet, unless she went through the back door. I don't know. But yeah, let's move on from that. So speaking of housewives, let's talk about Adele, who basically said she put some shade at the housewives. Um,
She's joining the Beverly Hills. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I don't think so. Especially after what she said, she's not. She said she's not a Real Housewives fan, so I guess Andy won't be having her on Watch What Happens Live anytime soon. But she says, "I know a lot of people love it, but I can't. My brain will die. I can't." This is what she said while getting her makeup done on the YouTube channel Nikki Tutorials. The singer also added, I don't know who any of them are, so I don't feel like I can start from the beginning when it's been on for so long. As if somebody was trying to get her into it, say, "Oh, you know what? You don't even need to know who these people are. You can just jump in and binge watch it." One of the things that about the Housewives, it definitely, even if you're not even a fan of it, there's something about the way they produce those shows that will suck you in immediately. That it's just hard to not get interested in it. But yeah, so what do y'all have to say about Adele not being a fan of the Housewives? But
You
she said
know,
on the show.
oddly enough,
That was fun.
that surprises me. Like
That's what I was gonna say. I
that,
swear, I'm like, 'cause the type of girl she is. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like I kind of feel like she's that girl who watches these shows and gets involved and like, like I could see her live tweeting one day, kind of like how Nikki did Potomac. It's just like, oh, Kyle, blah blah blah, whatever, make a comment. Like I could totally see it. So it definitely takes me by surprise.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by
Yeah,
that too.
I feel no. Well, I listen. I still feel like she is that type of girl. Once she unwinds, sits down, and she's by herself, she doesn't know anything else going on. She'll sit down because she gives me that type of vibe, that type of girl. I also think looking back at that clip and saying what she's saying. Also, again, I mean, people can take things the wrong way, and maybe, let's say, maybe they did take it the wrong way in this aspect. Maybe I think she's just trying to say, I've heard of it. I just don't know who it's about. But from what I'm told, it's too much, and I feel like I'm gonna, like, you know what I mean, like blow up and not catch up. Almost like, how when we talk about drag race and stuff like that, and you ask me like, oh, you're watching Spain, you're watching this, I feel like I tell you, no, it's too much. You know what I mean? Like it's too much for me. I can't handle or go back and try to catch on so much
Yeah,
of the shenanigans because it's just after a while, I'm like, okay, I need to unwind. It's too much. I'll just stick with the U.S. Drag Race and keep it at that. And even then, you get All Stars back to back and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to let it go. I'm thinking, my personal opinion, I feel like that's what she really implied. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, it could be a lot of those shows after a while. It can be overwhelming when you're trying to keep up with a lot of shows, and then they come on like it's back to back to back to back to back, and then now we have the others. We have the spinoff on Peacock. So it's like it's a lot to try to take in and trying to keep track of all these shows. So yeah, it can be overwhelming, especially like I was saying about Drag Race. Drag Race, when we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, it can become a little overwhelming after a while. 'Cause it's like, well, damn, I just finished this season. Now I gotta go into UK, and then UK is about to end, and we're already in the middle of Canada. Now they're about to start up the
It
Italy
does
one.
give me something to watch.
Yeah, it is something to pass. I mean, it's a lot of shows. Look, I just recently discovered this new show that I just started binge watching on Netflix, Selling Sunset. I'm obsessed with that show. Like,
I keep hearing about this show.
Same.
it is so like
I
if
have
y'all
so many
want, it's
friends.
women's. It's a bunch of stick figure model types that are selling houses, but they are just the shadiest freaking women. Like the Reeves and the like
Scripted or
selling. No,
reality?
it's a reality show. It's literally like $1 Million Listed, but with just all glamorous girls. And
Gotcha.
these twin Jewish guys. Well, I think one of them is gay, but for the most, and I think one of them was married to Justin Hartley from This Is Us, and you literally see her whole divorce play out on the season. Like it's literally a show. Like the minute you start watching it, you will definitely get sucked into it. A friend of mine got me sucked into it one day, and I'm like, I literally was sucked in watching the entire series. So I got like literally 2 episodes left. Oh, Chriselle, that's who was married to Justin Hartley. But yeah, it's like and then they had
Yes.
they're
Thank
famous
you,
on it.
EJ,
Like
in the
recently,
back.
yeah, like recently, Chriselle sold the house to Simu Liu, who plays Shang-Chi in the new Shang-Chi movie. So you get to see like famous people actually appear on the show. So yeah, and the houses are fabulous.
Wow.
I'm like, oh damn, that made me want to find a way to get millions of dollars to buy a house in LA. But yeah, it's definitely a show that you guys should check out when y'all get a chance. I ain't even well, ooh,
What's my body count? What does that mean?
like her accent was killing me every
It's
Divorce,
time.
stuff.
babe. Divorce.
It's stuff like that. This personality that she has, just on like little lives and little like segments like that, that makes me feel like she would totally enjoy stuff like the Housewives. But to each his own.
Yeah, she's like
Agree.
she's in so many ways as like the white Whitney Houston, and by that I mean Whitney Houston grew up in New Jersey, but then they made her into this demure glam, girl, the vocalist, all this. But then when you hear them talk, it's like they just straight up ratchet, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
Adele gives me. So I could totally see like why we would think collectively that Adele would do a show like, or people would be into a show like The Housewives, or just would be a Housewives superfan. So it is kind of interesting that she would say something like that. But speaking of Housewives, a couple of weeks ago, Nene Leakes appeared on The Real and said that she wouldn't mind coming back to The Real Housewives of Atlanta when she was asked by the ladies if she would ever return. She said she would the door be open because apparently according to some of the girls it'd be unfinished business. But Andy Cohen recently appeared on The Real and was asked the same question. And this is what he said. He says, we are in the midst of shooting season 14 of the Atlanta Housewives, and it's great. And Marlo has her peach, which you said she would never get, but okay. And Sheree is back, and we have some new faces and some great faces, and Kenya Moore is on fire. And so I'm really focused right now on season 14 of the Housewives of Atlanta and not really looking beyond that right now. So that basically means he's saying, Nene, that was cute and all, but we don't need you. Why doesn't Kev? I think you do. And I did hear word on the curb that um, that Kenya and Marlo unfollowed each other on social media. So apparently there's some fighting
Yeah.
that's going on between them on this upcoming season. So what do y'all think? I mean, I know we've talked about it many times, and Lindsay's still holding out that
Yeah.
Nene is going to come back in the show. But I think at this point, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Listen, I still feel like she is. I don't think for this season. I wanted to backtrack a little bit because I love that you said that Marlo was never going to get her peach because that's what Andy. Well, the Andy said she would never get her peach, and look
Exactly.
what happened. What I'm thinking,
Because he's
but what I'm
desperate.
thinking is, think about it. Well, we're talking about this right now. It's the desperacy of it all. It's unlike other housewives that were given peaches, she was given off the strength that the show wasn't doing well. Last season was a terrible season. The drama was a big lackluster. They started production as soon as it started to air. Portia left. You know what I mean?
She'll
So
be back.
you lost another drama. Yeah, what I'm talking about for right now, for what's happening in the film, is you lost
Mhm.
this. This other one. What's her name? The one who came back from last season. She got signed to do a 2-year contract. I'm sure they were trying
Oh,
to figure out a
Drew?
way to drop her, so like let her finish her season. Drew got on the show, and her contract. I mean, from what I understand, is she didn't get the good money, but the contract stated, unlike other contracts, I guess because the coins were so little, she's like, I want to get a little bit more. They're like, no, girl, we don't know you like that. Is do 2 seasons. I think they thought what she was going to bring was going to be spicy, and clearly it did not. So, looking at
I
the
don't like
cast they have
Sheree.
now and the girls that are, well, Sheree has been on 101, but I don't think Sheree, especially with the storyline that's been in the media with her man I wanted to be on and stuff like that, I think they're like, ooh, Sheree may not be able to carry this show. Sheree is good, but Sheree is really good with other all stars. There are certain people like, let me put it this way. For me, Sheree is like Nicole Scherzinger. She is fabulous with the Pussycat Dolls. By herself, And right now, they don't have strong hitters to be up there with Sheree. Candy doesn't really get into the nitty gritty drama like that. Candy's gonna fight with everybody, so she's by herself. She can hold
Mhm.
on her own. But I think Sheree being the bone collector would be good amongst Portia, Nene, one more other, Phaedra, let's say. That's gonna be a great cast. So yeah, I'm kind of happy that Marlo got it. She's been on it for so long, but this peach that was given to her is not like, here, girl, this is for you. We're giving you a peach. It's like, okay,
It
girl,
feels
we
like
need you now.
it's
So
a
here,
sympathy piece
finally.
because they ran out of people and they
Yeah,
desperate and they need
sympathy. There
another
you go.
person, so they just gave it to her.
One
That's
thousand
what it
percent.
feels
So,
like.
so it's in a way, it's almost like she still never got her peach because it wasn't a here, mama says we need you. It's
I have a
yeah, we
thought.
just need you.
Do you
Yeah.
think, and this is kind of like kind of going off track, but kind of staying in the realm of Housewives of Atlanta. But do you think because of what's happening on the Housewives Girls Ultimate Girls trip between Cynthia and Kenya was another reason as to why
Hmm.
Cynthia didn't come back this season?
Yes. I kind of
I didn't
feel
think
like
about
that is
that.
another reason too.
Because she
I didn't
kind of
think
felt
about it.
like really jealous and everything.
Yes, 1,000%. And and I feel like their friendship would have been myrtle. And I think Kenya, because Kenya would do that, Kenya would attack Cynthia. She's like, listen, I've had enough with Nene. I'm not gonna do it with this. I don't have the time to be doing this again. The money's not enough. I'm jumping ship. I think
Mm-hmm.
you saying that, I'm really on that mindset now. Like,
Mhm.
she's probably another reason why Cynthia is not staying. So,
Right.
and that's another thing. And then we lost Cynthia too. We don't have a lot of, so Candy and Kenya are the originals, OGs right now. Let's say bringing Sheree back, but they're the OGs. So that's not enough
Yeah,
for this cast. It's really not enough. They should
exactly.
have taken a little bit of time, like they did with New York, or what they did with OC. I think right now OC had did a fabulous job. They just took a little bit of a few months of a hiatus. They got their shits together. They got Heather Dubrow back. And look, just by the first episode alone, I
Love the
think
first two
it's like,
episodes. Boom, 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 coming
wow.
at
And
it.
I'm and Remy knows I am not a fan of the OC Housewives. I really don't watch that
Mm-hmm.
franchise. I watched the first season, a little bit of the second, and then after that, I just watched the reunions just so that I know what's going on. But I do not watch the show. This show, superb. They did a really good job. I think that's what they should have done with Atlanta. But
Yeah,
then again, maybe they rushed it because Dallas was lost. New York is not coming back. You know what I mean? They were still filming Jersey, so I'm sure they didn't have enough contact at that time to air it while they filmed because it's just not enough. So they just went ahead and do it. And I hope, I love the Atlanta Housewives, and those are the queen bees over there. I hope that franchises stays intact for this new season. But I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm like, the other shows, they ain't pulling it. I don't see it. And they're having so much drama right now with filming. It's just like, how much more content are they pulling? Because the drama is just like, I keep hearing, okay, now because of this, it got pushed back, or now they have to delete certain stuff, or like certain stuff that they already taped will not be able to air it. And, this person's not filming it. This, I'm like, ooh, what's going on over there? Someone, Andy, you need to go to Atlanta right now and figure this out. What is going on? Call Nene. She needs to make a Friends appearance or something. But
yeah,
even if she don't, she'll be back
yeah,
next
because
season.
there's been so many stories that's been coming out with Nene lately, man. I don't know what her financial situation. I did see the picture of her alleged new man that was on social media, but there was
Mm.
also a story that she's going broke, that she's closed a couple of her
I heard
stores
that too.
down. She's had to slash the price on that mansion about 3 times. So um, there seems to be a lot of trouble going on with her businesses. I don't know if all that is true, but I've been hearing from different sources. Cheryl's World, a lot of them been saying a lot of different things. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll
We need
see.
to go support the Lenithia Lounge. We need to go to Georgia and go support her.
Yes, I mean her passion seems to be there. So if she's selling off her stores, it's probably because A is not doing well, and she's like, I don't have the passion for it. Like once you get tired with something and you see there's not being lucrative,
Yeah.
you're like, okay,
Well,
let it
quite a
go.
skip.
I think
Boutiques don't
maybe
really
that could
do that.
be.
Yeah, boutiques don't really do well when it comes to a lot of these, not even just the
It's true.
housewife or the reality types, but even when
Kyle
a lot of
Richards can
these
tell you about that.
musicians, when a lot of people like when you have the Eves and the Jados, all of them, they were trying to do clothing lines, they don't work. No shade to
Yes.
Rihanna, but that
Mm-hmm.
Fenty fashion line, girl, that's a mess. Um, and them fabrics look cheap. And
Something?
no, that's not the book.
Bling, 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 bling.
But yeah, so the fashion, the clothing thing doesn't well, but I do think, like, I don't know, for some reason I always felt like the Lenithia Lounge, that's where her focus should be. Like, people will love to Nini's
Mm-hmm.
personality, all the stuff that works best, where she could just show up, do like have the live performance, that thing, she's in there doing what I thought she was going to speak. But anyway, yeah, she's gagging. But it's like, do what you need to be done in regards of the Lenithia Lounge. I think that is more of her alley than doing, you know,
Yeah.
um,
Agreed.
the clothing store or whatever the hell it was called. But
Mm-hmm.
let's move on to the
Agreed.
next topic. We'll talk about another mess. Wendy Williams. Stories keep coming out about her. Now it's been reported that she will probably be returning in February of 2022. At this point, your season is halfway over. Just don't show up. Just let people continue to fill in and the fans be all mad on social media and just have your feelings. I'll reveal who the new villains are going to be in a second. But her brother is speaking, who's a famous YouTuber now. He basically said that he said um, we talked about different things. She definitely came up with a number of different ideas, all of which I know she will succeed, but time will tell. I believe anything posting her career in television, if that is the case, will involve youth and people who dream of doing something in the media field. Um, he also said she was able to show them some other ropes, not regular ropes, but some other ropes, because Wendy knows a lot about those other ropes. I would love to have her down here as a neighbor, talking about in Florida, or just let her down more often. I know what. Wait, it says I know that when she's on the other side of some of the issues she's dealing with, there's no doubt she'll be here for more. Honestly, I don't believe the whole thing about her helping the youth or people in the industry because Wendy ain't never been somebody that's a supporter of you know the come ups. I mean, she did
Well,
something with Charlamagne, but her husband was, that was a whole other story with what she had to deal with
no, 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 no.
Kevin and Charlamagne telling all
Yeah.
these stories about staying with them and the drama that he endured with the husband trying to ruin his career. Then we heard the stories trying to ruin Angie Martinez's projects when she was trying to get a talk show with Debra Mercury, the same people that produced the Wendy Williams show and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I don't know if it would be nice if she, like we've said this so many times in this episode on the shows, it'd be nice if she would create a platform to help up and coming. Because I just heard recently Jason Lee just opened up a studio in LA to help podcasters. They can film all their stuff at a place that he just opened. So I'm like, okay. I said Tasha K would never, but for the most part, at least he had a space that he is creating and paying it forward with what he's done and helping other people have those opportunities.
Uh, First, don't listen to the brother. I mean, she said it many times, and some of the stuff that he puts out on his YouTubes over the last year just makes no sense. Sometimes I'm like, yo, you're left. He changes the narrative, so I wouldn't go so much to believing anything he's saying. Clearly, he's using her. He's using her for clout. Like those are one of those people who uses
Yeah.
coattails to ride it and
Mhm.
achieve his YouTube show. So he better calm that down. No, I'm not falling for anything he says. If it doesn't come out of her IG or a publicist, I don't want to hear you. But don't forget, I've heard the stories of Wendy Williams being like that diva that it's me first, me first. But I feel like that's everyone in the industry, like in industry, like if you're an actress, you want to go for a role, you're gonna do everything you can to be to get that role. So, I mean, it happens. Being a little shady about it, that's a little off. But since Wendy started the show, her actual the Wendy Williams show on Fox, she's always said throughout the years that she wants to teach a class. She wants to do it at a university.
Yeah.
She wants to go ahead and give a course to it, and then she wanted to do something else aside from that, but still within the realm of teaching the class. So the fact that he brought this up and said, "Oh, this is what she wants to do," it's when I heard it, I'm like, that's not new because she's been saying it for years. You're just speaking out of, I guess, what may have happened is maybe they spoke for a little bit and he's like, how are you? And she's like, I'm not going to give you no information, bitch, because I don't trust you, because you go on YouTube and you've done it before, you talk shenanigans. And she's like, I'm doing well, I'm doing this. And he probably asked for the show. She's like, I'm doing well. And, maybe she wants to finish it. She's like, after this, I want to go ahead and teach a class and whatever. And I feel like this is very much up Wendy's alley, where maybe the show's coming to an end. She will retire, but retire as far as doing a TV show, but she may be doing teaching courses in a university somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I
she
feel
said
like
this
she
many
should do a
times.
podcast.
Agreed. I do agree with that. She should definitely do a podcast.
Agreed.
Or
Mm-hmm.
what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Serious? No, yeah, serious thing. Do the same deal. Like, I mean, I don't think they'll pay her like they pay Howard Stern because men, unfortunately, will always get paid top dollar over a woman. But I'm sure she can get a great. And it's unfortunate that it's like that. But it would be great to see her do like a Sirius XM podcast. I think people would tune in to listen to it as long as we can get some of that old Wendy that we was getting from the radio days with. But she's more unfiltered
Mm-hmm.
because she doesn't have to be in the confines of daytime TV on where there's certain things you can say and there's certain, yes, there's a confine in those rules. So I would be all for her doing a podcast. I would definitely listen to it. And I think it would be great to see her do like, oh, I could teach a course because she went to a university and studied media. So if you can take a class at like an
Mm-hmm.
NYU or even an HBCU and
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much give what needs to be given in regards of giving those kids out there who want to get into her field the right kind of advice, because she's actually been there and done that. So what we're gonna do right now. Oh wait, before we do, let me just reveal who are the people who's gonna be returning to, or even some new, some old. But they have Remy Ma, Fat Joe coming back. Michael Rappaport, I don't know why, when Word on the Curb was, his week was the lowest rated. But I guess y'all want him to be there, then okay. And we also have the one and only Kim Whitley and Finesse Mitchell, and fan favorite Sherry Shepherd is coming back. And this will be pretty much, I believe, the month of January. So, yeah. I don't know. I just don't think she's coming back at this point. We keep pushing this narrative every time. But yeah, let's just take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Kevin Williamson is saying that Scream has a lot of gay undertones to it. I mean, I kind of knew that from watching the movie. Keanu Reeves is talking about how The Matrix was not ready, or Hollywood wasn't ready for a trans character that was supposed to be in The Matrix that came out 22 years ago. And West Side Story has banned the film West Side Story has been banned in over 6 countries because of a trans character that is in the new musical that just came out recently. So yeah, we're going to talk about those things once we come back and taking this little short gay break on Drinks and Drag.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Sorry, I'm here. How you doing? Okay, so first things first. Little Nessa dropped the music video for Industry Plant last night, and it was good, right? Did we see the music video? Clap if you saw the music video. Okay, a couple people. I watched it. I thought it was a little bit, gay, a little bit fruity in the booty, but that's okay. That's very in these days. My daughter actually had a girlfriend a couple years ago. She was a lovely girl. Do we like the gays? Clap if we like the gays. Okay, not that many people. That's fine.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
I hate this show. Yo, these little clips in between. Shout out to EJ for these little TikTok. These shits be taking me out. A little fruity in the booty. Like that, I'm glad you muted my damn microphone. But anyway, welcome back to Drinks and Drag. And yes, that was hilarious, especially the Wendy Williams impersonation. I don't know who was that, by the way.
I don't know. At first, when the clip
Someone who's
started,
a
I
little
thought it was
fruity in the booty.
I thought it was Naomi Smalls doing Wendy Williams again, like she did on Drag Race. And then I saw like the
I did
face
think it
one
was a
face
Drag
sat down.
Race
I was like,
girl.
oh, okay. Yeah.
I did think it was a Drag Race girl. But let's talk about Scream. So, that movie's coming out next month. I'm actually looking forward to Scream 5, by the way. They won't call it that. They want to call it the original. They want to call it Scream. But anyway, so the screenwriter Kevin Williamson, who I think wrote the first two movies. Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway, he wrote the original Scream film. We'll just go with that. And I think he wrote Scream 2, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and a bunch of other films in those times. But he spoke recently in an interview about the Scream films, and basically said that there was a lot of gay undertones to it. He says, one of the things I wrestle with is trust, and Sydney trusted no one. Did she really know her mother as her boyfriend, who he says he is? In the end, she wasn't even trusting herself. As a gay kid, I related to the final girl, the surviving human. Who will basically survive. A final girl is the girl who survives the end of the damn movie. So you have Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, and you have Sidney Prescott in the Scream movies. And they also
Not
said,
Megan Good.
Oh,
Megan Good's usually the first one dead in any movie she's in.
Oh yeah, because they did kill her off in that horrible ass Monster Hunter movie with Mila Jovovich. I can't believe I actually admit that I watched that movie. But anyway,
I liked it.
You did? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all over the place. But anyway, so he says, and to her struggle because it's what one has to do to survive as a young gay kid too. You're watching this girl survive the night and survive the trauma she's enduring. Subconsciously, I think the Scream movies are coded in gay survival. He also said that it was the inclusion of gay icons such as Sarah Michelle Gellar, Parker Posey, and Carrie Fisher was accidental and refers to the series as a gay universe, I guess like the MCU. But I kind of felt like they were gay on its own, especially I thought even in the first one, the relationship between Billy and Stu was very homoerotic.
Yeah.
Especially when they were stabbing each other, and they would turn out to be, spoiler alert, the movie came out like 25 years ago. They turned out to be the killers. So there was a lot of gay undertone there. And then you had Randy. That was like, there was stuff with him and so many, and Tatum. Everybody likes a big boobed girl with large nipples. So yeah, there was a lot of gay undertones in that film. So I guess my question is, did y'all get the same vibe?
From the first one with the two killers, yes, I did get that. That one off rip I did. I can't say that there was really anything else in any of the other movies that kind of gave me that, or at least nothing that comes to mind immediately. But yeah, that's a very interesting take on it.
Yeah, and I kind of, it's always funny when they always talk about how like movies are coded, a lot of films are coded in, there's a lot of gay coding in films, because I didn't even know this, and I know we're going to talk about West Side Story later on, but I had no idea that West Side Story was an idea that Rock Hudson, who was a famous gay actor, he wasn't back in the day, he was in the closet, but we found out years later that he was gay. That he came out, it wasn't Rock Hudson, it was Montgomery Clift, my fault. He was the one that came up with the idea for West Side Story. He was like, well, why don't y'all just make a play like Romeo and Juliet and base it in New York and have them with gangsters. And I think it was also supposed to be there's supposed to be two guys, but they weren't ready for that in the 60s. So it'd be nice if they kind of did that now, but with this new movie that just came out recently, I don't think that's going to happen. But they could always make a gay version of Romeo and Juliet. Speaking of which, I would like to see more like a gay slasher movie. Like, we need some of that, especially with Shudder and the recent announcement that they're renewing Dracula for a 5th season, and it's one of their most streamed shows. So I'm like, this is an opportunity. Like, if people really are hungry for that kind of content, we can use like a Scream-esque type of franchise with some gay leads or some gay characters. We was talking about a gay romance show like The Bachelor. Why not a gay horror movie?
Have you ever seen the I believe it's the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie, that the main character has like they labeled him as like a scream queen because he had a very effeminate screen controversy behind it because it was kind of like outing him for being gay at the time or whatever. And I think that one was pretty good and it was pretty well done, even though the director denies any of the gay undertones in the movie. But there was a lot in that movie as well.
I'm not buying what he said though, because there was like there's the scene where the gym the gym coach is in the shower and he's tied up and he's being whipped and his bare ass. I was like, okay, now, and then he goes to the gay bar and there's so many undertones and a lot of in your face sequences within that movie that to me, I do feel like A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the gayest film of the franchise, although everybody's favorite is the third one, as they say. And that's one of my favorite. I think because that was more the campier one, and there was more action in that one. Yeah, the second one is the gayest one. But I know it was panned by a lot of people because they felt that. But now people have an appreciation for it because it's got that cult following. It's always years later. But yeah,
Do you think that if that came out now, or a movie with like heavy gay undertones like that now, it would be more receptive and more appreciated?
I think so. I think that definitely would. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna say yes. I feel doing a horror movie with like a gay cast, a gay character, I would want to see how that would work because I feel the idea has probably been brought up many times to Hollywood, but I feel like they would make it too campy. Even though in scary movies, like especially like with Scream, they have campy quotes, so they,
Right.
revise a lyric on someone being funny. Like, didn't someone say like, "Oh, I can imagine Jennifer Hewitt playing me" or something like that? You know what I mean? Like they're getting campy thoughts. I think it's good, but for some reason, when I'm watching gay films through like Hulu or whatever, like I'm in the mood to see like LGBT stuff. I want to see a cast. I want to see a role. I want to see two main characters being together. They go a little too far with campy and just make it like
yeah,
stupid funny that
Yeah.
we forget what the purpose of the film is. And I feel like this is what I'm getting. I feel like I would want this to happen, but if we do a film like this, I want someone like Wes Craven to do it, or someone who's really into the horror film, and then they
well,
have
Wes
the
Craven
writers
can't
to
do it because
combine
he's
together
dead. But
and
yes, I get what you
make
mean.
it make sense to have us being represented. Well, you know what I mean. Someone like him. Sorry, I should have said that. But 'cause I feel like if someone else gives it up to the writing, it'll be something like Scary Movie. You understand what I'm saying? Like when the Wayans brothers would do like the gay jokes, it goes beyond campy and silly. That I feel like
Yeah.
that's what they would bring to
Yeah,
a gay
I don't want
horror film,
campy.
and that's
I
not what I
want.
want to see. I
I
want to
would
see
like it.
like the Texas Chainsaw, the Screams. I want to
Yeah.
see that with gay characters.
Yeah, it can go serious, but you could also have those moments of like with
Oh,
Scream,
I'm done.
they did the pop culture references and the self-deprecating humor to kind of lighten up the mood, but for the most part, just keep it serious, keep it scary, keep it gory, kind of like a
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, the first one, and just kind of do it in that genre. It shouldn't have to be campy like gay. It's always funny
Yeah.
how like whenever they think gay or they want to do a gay story, it has to be campy. Like if you did, for example,
Yes.
you did like we did a gay version of like James Bond. It has to be campy. So they have the animated series that's on Netflix. Was it G-Force? So it's like everything has to be rooted in comedy. And it's like, no, you can do a
Mm-hmm.
serious story featuring different people and different characters. Black people have been going about this for the longest, where it's like we don't always have to do comedy and everything. We can do serious. We can do this. We can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the same respect should be given to the LGBTQ community. There was a movie, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was on Hulu, and it was like it was a gay horror movie, and it was with Chris Evans' brother was in it. That was a good one. I don't know, it'll probably come to me later on. But yeah, that I remember that movie came out. I think it came out like a year or two ago. That was actually a good one. I think it might still be on Hulu. But yeah, so hopefully in my lifetime we'll get to see that. If not, I'll probably have to write it or find someone to help me write it. So speaking of movies with queer undertones, Keanu Reeves is recently speaking out because he was promoting The Matrix Resurrections, which comes out, I believe, the week of Christmas, and said that the original Matrix nearly featured a trans character, but the studio wasn't ready. Now, for those of you who may or may not know, in the original Matrix script, they featured a character, a more expanded role for the character Switch, which was played by Belinda McClory. Now, in the first draft by Lana and Lily Wachowski, Switch was meant to be portrayed as a man in the real world and a woman in the Matrix, so the name makes even more sense. And Keanu went and said in a conversation, this is what he said with Entertainment Weekly that he did with Carrie Ann Moss. He says, I think the studio wasn't ready for that. Now, the movie, they said that in the movie, as you know, if you've seen it, and I'm sure everybody has seen it because they just recently showed it again in IMAX at Lincoln Square, which I went to go see, by the way. Switch was ultimately made into to be androgynous and wasn't featured much. and she ended up getting killed by Cypher. So I hate it when they I did feel like her character was wasted a bit. So the question remains because he says that the industry wasn't ready for a trans character. It seems like they are now. I don't know if there's any trans characters in the new film, but we know that the film was directed by a trans woman, Lily Wachowski. Oh, sorry, Lana Wachowski. Lily did return. Um, Hopefully there is a trans character in the film, but I think for the most part, we do have some gay people in the film. Who is it? Oh my God, what's his name? Jonathan Groff is in it. I think he's playing a new iteration of Agent Smith. So they have queer characters who are appearing in the film. Jada Pinkett is in it too. But anyway,
I don't know the films. I've never seen The Matrix, so I'm like,
you've never seen The Matrix?
Interesting. No, it doesn't catch my attention. It's not my kind of film.
I'll say that while I am glad that there is like, you know, more representation being shown, I just hope that it continues to be like representation by those who need to be represented as such. Get trans actors to play the trans characters. We don't need Scarlett Johansson playing a trans actress.
Or Halle Berry, because she almost did one too.
Berry.
And they got on her about it, and Halle seemed almost genuine in her apology of it, but then Scarlett kind of did too much. Where she was just like, well, why can't I play that? I can play a tree. And I was like, girl, now you comparing yourself to a damn tree? Like, I was like, you doing too much.
I mean, right. I agree. Definitely give the roles, like, give us our rights and give us our jobs. You know what I mean? Give the trans, if a trans actress is playing the role for the film, then give it to her. And if she wants to audition because she is a woman for a female lead role that has nothing to do with being trans, you should do so as such. If she is a great actress and can pull in what she needs to do, we have to give these people a chance, because you want to give people because of their names, and sometimes they're not that good. The Scarlett thing, although I do agree that I feel like she was doing too much, but I think she was trying to say at the end of the day is she wasn't trying to come and disrespect anybody. She was trying to say that I am an actress. I'm going to act in this role because in real life I'm not this. No one's this in real life. You know what I mean? Like Brad Pitt is not a sheriff in real life, but he's playing a sheriff. I think that's what she was saying. I think she was just being deaf to what we were saying to her. You understand what I'm saying? I think she was just
she was looking at she was looking at it in the context of being an actor, where an actor's job is to portray something that is so far outside of who they are in real life, which does make sense, because it's like, okay, so you have these people in the Matrix, like in real life, they're not these freedom fighters who get jacked in and start killing agents and things and trying to free people. So they're not. So, and then, or you have someone playing a serial killer, not trying to play trans serial killers, but I guess maybe the argument why people get so upset is because the minute you get someone who identifies as cisgender, plays a trans role, they're immediately rewarded for it by an Oscar, or if they're in television, an Emmy. So I think that's where people get upset. Like Jared Leto plays a trans woman, gets an Oscar. Eddie Redmayne plays a trans woman, gets an Oscar. So that it always seems to be the thing that a lot of times these actors jump into those roles and they're immediately rewarded with some nomination, or that's why they're trying to do it. Oh, like it's like playing a crackhead or somebody with HIV. Then you get an Oscar for that. So I do hope that it changes and we actually get it, because I'm like, and when you look at it in games, you have guys who play, a guy who will, their avatar will be female. Doesn't necessarily mean they want to transition. They just want to play the girl character because she's interesting. So it'd have been nice to see if they would have explored. But 22 years ago, Hollywood wasn't ready for it. Slowly but surely, they're starting to be more open for trans roles. But I'm a Keanu fan, so I'll definitely be checking this new movie out. And I'm looking forward to John Wick 4, speaking of which. So now, it's my Virgo twin, because we were born on the same day. Not the same year, though. But anyway, it made me 57, and I'm not nowhere near my 50. So now, Steven Spielberg recently released West Side Story, directed it. But the word on the street is it has been banned in 6 Middle Eastern countries after Disney reportedly said no to transphobic censorship requests. Now, sources from the region told Hollywood Reporter that censors in the socially conservative countries objected to the presence of the trans character Anybody's, played by non-binary actor Iris Menace. Now, the countries that have banned the film from being seen is Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. All banned the release of the film. So that sounds like the same places that banned damn, what's the name of the movie that we were just talking about? The Eternals. So
Yeah,
what y'all got to say
I'm
about
not
that?
surprised.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
unfortunately not that it's okay, but these countries are. I hate to say, it, and I don't want to be the one to say it, but they're never going to change. Their beliefs and their system are so strict that that's not going to go anywhere. I'm not surprised that happens. I
They're
mean,
rooted in
listen,
their
we
ways.
crack jokes. They're rooted in their way. That's not going to happen. And
Mhm.
same thing goes in the music industry. You can't play certain music even if you're a straight person. You do anything sexual, you're not allowed. Females, like the Britney Slave for You video is not seen in that country. Christina Aguilera's Strip album. You see her digitally a sweater is drawn into the cover of her album. Like it's those type of things. I remember seeing a documentary, the J Lo documentary, and I think an Avril Lavigne one, where when they were going on tour, they were going there for the first time, and they had to change some of their songs, their set list. And Avril Lavigne is not allowed to yell or say any profanity, which we know, and they had to wear, specific outfits to be able to do the show. So I'm not surprised. It's a shame. I'm sure there's a lot of people who do want to see the film for what it is, especially people who are into theater, who are into musicals, who are into those type of love stories. I'm sure the gay community, unfortunately, that are hiding in there, wants to see that film, and it's not going to be there. But it's not going to affect the box office outside of it. Like the positive side of, not that it sounds right, but the positive side of it, it's going to do extremely well. But it's a shame that um those countries are never going to see anything remotely close to this.
Yeah. Hopefully
I
they'll
agree.
well, maybe they'll pirate it, but then if they do pirate it, um, hopefully they won't end up in a situation like North Korea, where
Right.
we thought about that, where they
Mm,
pirated Squid Game and ended up getting sentenced to death. So hopefully it won't be a situation
they
like that
will.
in in
No, they will. They
these
do.
countries. That's why I'm what, in so many ways I'm so glad that we're born here. Like I know we have our country in so many ways, and I think people don't really understand like why so many refugees come here because we have people like to bitch and moan about stuff, but we have way more leeway and opportunities versus so many other countries who don't have that luxury. Where so many people have to seek asylum just for being a part of the LGBTQ
Hmm.
community because you have places like I remember there was a guy that I was living with at one point. He was subletting one of the rooms that I was living in when I was living in Brooklyn at the time. And he would tell me that he left Egypt because he had a hookup. I'm not going to say his name and all that stuff because we got to protect all that stuff. But he said that he went and was in Egypt, and it's illegal to be gay
Hmm.
there and in certain parts, I
Hmm.
guess, but I don't know the whole historical thing of like what parts are more accepting or what the whole thing is. But he said he went on Grinder, he got a hookup with someone, and he was going to meet them, but then something in his gut told him it was not a bad idea, and turns out it was an undercover cop. And what they do is they like to trap people, and then they either extort you for money or you end up in
Hmm.
jail or dead. So he actually packed up his stuff and left his home. His parents were accepting and stuff, but it's just the overall worrying about the police coming after him and stuff. He had to leave his country and then he came here and sought asylum. So it's insane. Like people don't realize when he told me that, I was literally flabbergasted about the whole thing because I'm like, you don't realize like how worse off a lot of other countries have it outside of where we have
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Agreed. It's sad, but it's the life that we're living in right now. It's deeper than the movie. It's deeper than them banning the film. It's just society is terrible. This is why they all hide or commit suicide and all these negative things that happen to them. Which is why I would never go. I remember that show Rachel's, was it Rachel Zoe, the designer?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Didn't she wasn't she like on her way to Dubai or something, and she's going with her like a gay assistant, and they told him like, he couldn't be too flamboyant, he needs to like calm it the fuck down. I'm like, oh, you're braver than me. I wouldn't be going. I
Well,
couldn't
Brad
go. I
Goreski.
don't want to risk it. I forgot who it was, but I remember
Yeah, I
there
was
was
like,
a
was that
kid with
before
that was
or
happening.
after? I mean, or before or during Brad Goreski season? Because
Good question. I remember none of these
he's
people.
the only one I remember
So
from that
what I
show
will
because he
know
was
is that
so
I
flamboyant.
remember. Yeah, but you know, it's crazy. I wouldn't risk it. I mean, I already have such a queen face. Imagine me stepping over there with something like, no, we know what you're about to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie and when it comes out.
Yes, I can't wait.
But or even though I forgot it is out, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie when I can get around to actually get to the theater to see it. And hopefully, I mean, look, and if those of you out there who are in these foreign countries that are watching us, we love you and support you. And you can watch us in secret. But anyway, so on that note, we are done with this episode of Drinks and Drag. So, yes, be sure to follow us on all of our social media handles, which we'll put at the bottom. Click like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And be sure to follow the Drinks and Drag Show Instagram. Lindsay, tell everybody what's
Yes,
the
please.
handle.
Yes, Drinks and Drag Talk Show on IG. Just keep up to date with the gossips and the pop cultures of the world. And also, feel free to DM us if you have something you want us to talk about or something that you think is worth mentioning. You know, we appreciate all the help. It definitely helps us a lot putting things together. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe and comment and keep checking us out for further deets.
Exactly, because this is the people show. So, yes, on that note, till next time, ciao, darling.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Frame, get in the frame, get in the frame.
You take the good, you take the bad. The facts of life. The facts of life.
Yeah, Jimmy, 80s teas. I live for it. Which one of us is Blair? Which one of us is Joe? And which one of us is, what was it, Tootie?
Lord knows I don't mean to be disrespectful coming out the gate asking, but how big is it? Is it, like, just give me a description because I don't want to waste my time. I damn sure don't want it too big, but I also don't want it too small. It's got to be the right size. That's why we need to go ahead and get it out the way right now and just figure out how it's set up. What's the mathematic equation behind that thing? What's the Pythagorean theorem? Send a detailed description. If you don't want to send a pic, just go, because I can't lay in the bed not knowing. Is it a third leg? I'm just asking. I don't know. Shit.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?